All right, so this is Child Development 66, week 2. And so like I said, we're going to start in week 2. And so tonight we're going to talk about what play is and the importance of play for children's learning. And we're going to talk about the different categories of play, the social stages of play, theories of play, and the conditions for play. So all of this is in your book, in the Jess Wiki book, the big fat book. Okay. And so this here is the recording from last year. So if I have a good recording, I put it in there in case you guys want to work ahead. And some of those have captioning done and some don't. All right. And so here's more videos. And so I put in a lot of information in the Canvas shell, and you take in as much as you need to understand the concepts, because it's humanly impossible to read it all and watch it all. So just take in what you need to learn the stuff. Okay, so here's the schedule for this week. I see it right here. This is what you were talking about, Josanne, huh? This is a mistake right here. Don't look at that. I'll take that off when we're done here. So I even fixed the dates, but I missed that one. So up here, I took it off. You just have one assignment this week, and that's the discussion. So I'll take that out. There's no quiz and there's no assignment. I reworked this class, and you guys don't have that this week. It's going to be later. And then these are the links for you. See, there's the big fat book. You're reading 2 and 3. And here's the framework book I was telling you about, page 19. If you click it, and you could read it right from your computer. And the great thing about the computer is you can blow up the text to be very, very big. And you see how long it's taking to load on my computer? I've got a brand new big fancy computer. I bought it when the pandemic started, and it still does this to me. So I don't know what to tell you about that. But I'm gonna click out of it now. So I put it on my computer, and so I'm gonna get that one out here. And which one is that? Oh, I lost my place. It's volume 1, it says. Did I tell you guys volume 1 or volume 2? Let me see. It's in more than one place in the framework books. That's why I was asking you guys. Volume 2, okay. So I'm gonna change my window here. Books. So this is what it looks like. It's the Preschool Curriculum Framework book, volume 2. There it is. All right, I'm not sure you guys can see that. Yeah. 100 windows just opened on me. Here it is. Okay, here's our framework book. And it's page 22, 24, right? This is the part that I wanted. Let me see. Yes. Oh, this one's a little different. It starts here at the curriculum planning process. That's what I want you guys to read about. You see how big I can make the words? And so if it's really hurting your eyes, you can blow it up. I have too many windows open here. There. And so what I was talking about earlier, let me find this. This is the important thing that I wanted you guys to get from reading this, is that it's cyclical. So we're doing it over and over and over when we take care of children. And so if we get this and we make this part of our normal practice as teachers, when all those paperwork comes due for the state, we got it. We did it already. And all we do is just pick up what we have and we just give it to them and we keep it moving because it's what we do normally all the time. And so it's in here. There's a big explanation about it in here. And so, like I said, it's 10 pages. Okay. So let me go back to Safari. And we're going to keep going here. So we are in week 2 here. So I showed you where everything was in the book. And so now I'm going to start with the information. And so I have a little explanation here. And it is about the African perspective. And so because a lot of this class is based on what old white men have to say about how children learn and how to do curriculum, I wanted to frame it all with saying, let's take the good and leave the rest. And I thought about it like this. So, have any of you guys heard of PITC, Program for Infant Toddler Care? Any infant toddler teachers out there? No? Okay, so the program for infant toddler care is what you're going to need to use if you're working in infant toddler classroom that's subsidized. So if you're in a subsidized program, you're going to need to use PITC. And so PITC recommends that you hold the baby until the baby gives you cues to put the baby down. Now, there's another philosophy, a caregiving philosophy called RIE. That's Resources for Infant Educators. And that's my favorite one. I'm a RIE person all the way. And RIE says you put the baby down until the baby gives you cues to pick the baby up. So they're both meeting the baby's needs, and we're both listening to the baby's cues, but they start from different places. So what I'm offering to you is to start from the African perspective and look for cues to make adjustments with each child that you have in your care. So just think it over, see how it goes, but always be flexible and responsive to the children in your room. Okay, any questions about that? So that's what this whole talk is in here. All right. So I got a video so you can see more about Bell Hooks and Cornell West. And she wrote a book called Teaching to Transgress. And then I put this article here that's written by Dr. Nunley. Have you guys had her as a teacher yet? She's a City College teacher. She's one of the full-timers, and she wrote this peer-reviewed journal article about remembering the African American child as a normative for self-healing power. So it talks a lot about like the theoretical framework for how we can support Black and brown children and how Western childcare practices have done Black and brown children wrong. So when I read it, it's really hard to read and I don't understand half of it, but it's there for your information if you want to go the distance. It's not required, but this class is just going to introduce you and expose you to a lot of ideas and perspectives, and you decide what you want to do with it. Like I wrote earlier, you decide what's going to quench your thirst about curriculum and how we support Black and brown children in our care. So this is all in Canvas, and if you click the link, you can see the article there. Okay, so this goes on and on. This is straight out of the book, all this stuff about play. I got some videos to support those concepts. And a lady explaining a little bit about some different philosophers or theorists. And then in here, this is all out of the book, and I have videos to go with it. I've got a Hey Did You Know right here. And I I put these pictures in here on purpose. So I took most of the pictures in Canvas here. So this one I took when I was a coach. And you see they're having a good time. These are 2-year-olds. These are they're like 2.5. So this is called an older toddler room. And you see they're lying on the floor. And sometimes new teachers want to make children sit in chairs and play at tables. And sometimes they just need to lie on the floor. So I want to challenge you all to support whatever way children want to learn. Sometimes, especially children under 8, they learn with their whole bodies. And so sometimes they're going to lie on the floor like that. And so as teachers, what do you think that means for us? That means our floor is clean enough to lie on and play on. When I was on family child care, I vacuumed twice a day because I had a baby daycare. They were all over, and they'd throw their snack everywhere, and then so I'd have to vacuum at night. So that's just the cost of doing business. And so if we're going to be excellent, we're going to just plan that into our schedule. And so do our best for the children that we have. And I want to say what else about these pictures. Like this one, I always talk about your yard, your outside environment should mirror the inside environment. So you should have a play kitchen, you should have books, you should have blocks, you should have dress up outside. That is an indicator of quality care. And so in this instance, they've got some capes outside. And then this one is, I show this one because a lot of teachers have different philosophies about whether or not we should make each child use a tray. We should give each child a tray while they play, especially during COVID. With toddlers, we use trays to define their space because they like to grab stuff from the plate next to them, especially during meals. And so a lot of times they have a tray to help them see, oh, this is my space, this part on the tray. And so I always show this picture when teachers are bugging me about this and how come I don't have the trays out? And I say, look, if I had trays out, this child would not be building such a big, fancy structure because that structure is bigger than a tray. And so just keep that in mind when you're using trays. In general, I use trays for wet, messy things and for beads so that they don't roll away. But other than that, I don't really give them trays because also it's another thing I have to clean. And I don't like cleaning things that I don't have to clean. So I just throw that out there and just consider that. And you see also what she's doing. I'm going to be talking about the DRDP, Desired Results Developmental Profile. When we're assessing children's development, one of the things in the math area, the math learning domain, is categorizing. And you see here, she's categorized, she's sorted things. She made a stack of squares and she sorted all the little triangles and she left them in the basket and she pulled out all the big triangles. So that would count as categorizing. This girl is 4 years old, so she's got it down. She's real good at it. But you can use that in your assessments for your DRDP as an example of categorizing. And that's a hard one to document. And so this is an example for you. So you can keep that, file that in the back of your mind when it's time to do that assessment. Okay. And all, like I said, all of this is in the book. And I even have the section of the book, right? 2.7 right there. Okay. And here's my video that explains it a little bit. Not as good as the book, but it's a 3-minute video in case you wanted to watch that. Okay, so now we are at the part where I'm going to start talking about learning stories to help, because like I said, this is the hardest part for my students, and so we're going to work on it. And so when we're talking about observing children and documenting their play, because that's going to be your next assignment, is to document. You're going to observe a child and write it down. And so there's a certain way we need to write it down so we can maximize the benefits of what we're going to do here. So I'm going to be talking about learning stories. So learning stories are great. They came out of New Zealand, from the indigenous people in New Zealand. And what's great about them is they include the voices of all of the stakeholders, all of the important people in the child's life. And a learning story is the teacher talking to the child and telling them a story about their development. We celebrate the child's development through these learning stories. So they're not IEP reports. We're not writing down all the things that are wrong. This is the time where we fill it up with PDAs and tell them all the things that they've done, all the things that they did, and we tell them a story. And so the teacher tells why they provided this learning opportunity, and then you tell what you saw, what you observed the child do, and then in the next paragraph, you connect what you saw to research, and then in the last paragraph, you write down what future curriculum plan you have for that child based on what you observed. And so it's kind of putting everything together that we learn in this class into something that you can use. And so what you can do with those, you can use them 6 ways. You can use it for observing, for planning curriculum. That's one thing. You can print it and post it. And now the parents see what you're doing with the children and what you see that their children learning. And so it helps you develop a partnership with your families automatically. And they see you as the expert on their child. And I promise you, you won't have people second guessing you and telling on you to the director and everything else, because they know you know what you're doing and you got a plan. And this is what they're learning, what they're doing in their classroom, and they love it. They love it. Also, it serves as a connection to support relationships between the parents and the children, because the parents, they read it, they talk about it with their child, and then the children see it and they reflect on it. And so you'll start to see the play in the classroom be more sophisticated, because they start from where they left off, because they have all those reminders on the wall. And then you can use it for your DRDPs, and you photocopy it and put it in each child's folder and you're ready. And then you can also use it in their developmental portfolio. And that, depending on the school where you are, sometimes they have yearly portfolios, and sometimes they keep them at the school all 5 years and give it to them when they graduate to kindergarten. And all of this DRDP stuff is for people who are in subsidized programs. If you're getting money from California, you're going to need to do this paperwork. And so I'm showing you how to do it in a way that's not going to ruin your day or make you stay up late. And then the last way you use it is the DRDPs have to be inputted into a computer app called DRDP Tech. And so if you already typed it up, you just copy and paste it in there and you're good. And so you only type it once and you use it 6 ways and you're good. And so, when I was a coach, we would type it up while they're with their patent backs, and I type it up sometimes they do it on their phone, and then they send it to the director and the director would print it. And so it would be on the wall before they went home for the day. So there's no extra work. We're not making these fancy. We're printing them on normal copy paper, and we're just keeping it moving. And this is, I tell you, it's so good if you start working this into your practice as a teacher. Okay, so where am I here? So that we're starting over. This is the very beginning, the observation part. This is the part that's really hard to switch over to this language, so that we're only looking at what they're doing. This is especially hard for the infant toddler teachers out there because you spend all day guessing what that child means. You spend all day decoding their cues and figuring out what they meant and what does that cry mean and what does that scream mean. And so we're gonna stop that for a minute and turn that part of our brains off, and we're just gonna write down what we see, just like a camera. The camera has no thoughts involved. It's just recording what it sees. And so that I have this example here of this picture of these boys. And so I give you two. I say one possible way to write this is, you were sitting down and drew a beautiful picture of your brother. I was so impressed with your talent. That sounds like a good one, right? Sounds okay. And then another version would be, you sat down, picked up the blue chalk, and drew a circle. Samuel sat down next to you and looked at your drawing. Okay, so which one do you think is the better choice there for this picture? Well, Josanne, you read it already, huh? She is right. It is the second one. You want to know why? Because beautiful picture. So you want to avoid judgment, putting judgment on anything the children do. So beautiful. It may be beautiful, but you want to, PDAs are all about what is really there. And so instead of saying, oh, that's so beautiful, you would say something like, oh, I see that's blue. You made some circles. Oh, you got ears. Those ears look just like your ears. You see how I did that? I'm still excited, but I did not pass judgment. We don't want to pass a judgment whether it's good or bad. We just want to describe things because they're learning the language. And then I was so impressed with your talent. So this comes up a lot because there are 100 ways to write a learning story, and I'm showing you how to do it so you can do all these other things with it. So you definitely could write a learning story and say how you were impressed with their talent, but you can't use it as a DRDP thing if you put all that stuff in there. Because that's all about you. That's not about the child. That's about you and your feelings. And this is not about you and your feelings. It's about the child and their development. And so I just got to just change everybody's perspective. We're focusing on the child and their development. This is the curriculum class. We're focusing on child stuff, not the teacher and how great they feel about being a teacher. We could write a learning story about teachers, and I've done that before. But for this class, this assignment, it's about the child and what they did. So there's no thinking aloud in this paragraph, in this part of the learning story. No thinking aloud. I have to say that over and over. No thinking, no analyzing. So if you write words like seemed like, felt like, that's you analyzing and summarizing instead of, oh, they made a face. They crinkled up their nose and squealed. So I want you to describe it as if someone can't see it and you're describing what you're seeing. Okay? Any questions about that? No? Okay, I think that's the end. And so this is an example of more explanation about what a learning story is. And another thing that's hard is, I've been doing this so long that I found that if you use simple past tense, simple past tense, it's a lot easier to do it right. But the minute you add in I had to look it up because I don't know these names. It's simple past continuous. Then you make a mess and it's just hard. It's hard for everybody. So past continuous is when words end with ing. You were doing this, and then you did this, and then you were doing this, and while holding this, you did this. That's going to get you in a whole lot of trouble with your summarizing and analyzing. And so as long as you keep it straight past tense, I've got a video link right here to help you. If you keep it straight past tense, it'll be so easy for you. It's like a switch that'll flip in your head, and you'll be like, why did I worry so much about this? It's so easy, but I know it's hard to get that switch to flip. And so we're just going to work together until we get it. I'm going to try hard. And so, any questions about that? No? Okay. Well, that's the main part of the information for this week. And so some of you start, this is the one assignment that you have. We're going to be talking about PDAs, positive descriptive acknowledgement. So this is part of the teaching pyramid, and it's like the one thing you're going to have to do no matter what if you work in a subsidized program. And it's just a life skill that we should all have. It's great. Try it out. I challenge you to try it in your regular life. You'll be surprised. So this is an explanation about it. Here's a handout about it right here. Here's the what to say and said handout in English, Spanish, and Chinese. Here's a video of a teacher doing PDAs in the classroom. And then your assignment is down here, right here. And you use a you statement. So you always want to start with you. You. You did this, you did that, you said this, you did this. Okay? When you're doing PDAs, it's a you statement. And then for extra credit, you can go back to week 1 and add some PDAs, and I'll give you some extra credit. You can get up to 5 points. So you go get 5 PDAs in week 1, and I'll give you extra credit. Okay, any questions about that? No? No questions? Yes. Yes, it's a benign. Like, did you go buy a book? Did you go buy a book? Did you go to the gym? Did you take a nap? Some people download the schedule. It's supposed to be a pointless, stupid assignment, so it's not supposed to stress you out. I just need something to work with for the PDA practice part. Yeah. And so what I did was somebody down here did one, and so I commented on it so you can go see it right there. I said, here's a PDA. You made sure to get your book on time. So you guys, you're working too hard, you're trying too hard. I see 4 lines of information, and all I needed was you made sure to get your book on time. Okay? We don't need to write any books and novels here. Just get to it. That's why I did that, because I knew you guys, you're just conditioned to just go on, and you don't have to. You don't have to. I know. I no, no, no. No, no, no. Okay, so, and I tell you, I started reading the other assignment. You guys went on and on too. You can't go over 600 words, and you guys are going over 600 words. Okay? I'm trying to help you here. We're here to learn about curriculum, not write a book. Okay? And really, you can't do this with children. You cannot go on and on with children. They'll walk away, they'll tune you out, and you'll lose your audience. So you got to keep it moving. Okay, so that's that. Um, Let me go back. So any other questions? Oh, okay. So your final project for this class, the final in 7 weeks, is going to be a learning story. And so every couple of weeks, we're going to write part of that learning story. So by the end, it'll already be written and you won't have to study or stay up late or anything. You just turn in your learning story. The questions on the assignments. So I'm teaching you like a holistic approach to curriculum. So we're not going to read the book and you tell me exactly what's in the book. I'm telling you, go read the book and then we're going to talk about stuff and think about stuff. And then we're going to do this awesome curriculum because we learned all that stuff in the book. Okay. And remember, whatever you turn in, you always have two more chances to resubmit it if you get a bad grade. So I don't want you to be maxed out about this. I want you to focus on the learning and what we're doing for children and the best we can do for children. Okay. So any other questions about that? And I see your comment, Monique. Okay, so the next, oh, do you have a question, Jose? Yes. The assignment this week is your discussion to practice PDA. Yeah. So you're supposed to post tonight and then reply by Thursday, and that's it. Catch up on your reading. I know you guys just got the book. You got stuff to do. You got stuff to read. There's a lot of reading. A lot of reading. And it really will help you if you read it. Don't skip the reading. Because I can tell. Because when I get these learning stories and it'll say, I'm going to give them free play, I'm like, oh, you didn't read the book. I'm going to give them candy and tell them not to eat the candy because they'll trust me and then they won't eat it. I'm like, oh, you didn't read the book. So I can tell. Well, if you look on the overview page for week 2, I'm going to go over there and read it to you from there. It says, chapter 2 and 3. It also says on the modules page to read chapter 2 and 3, and it says on the summary page to read chapter 2 and 3. It might even say it on the home page. Let me check. It doesn't say it on the home page. But the overview page tells you everything you need for the week. But it's generally 2 chapters a week. So you just go ahead, read ahead, read ahead. The longer you have it in you, the better you're going to understand it. You're going to know what I'm talking about when I say stuff. And so the more you can read ahead, the better. All right, any other questions? I still get the feeling you guys are really maxed out and stressed out. And what can I do to help you with that? Well, yeah, mine is too. Mine is too. I can't tell you the pile of stuff that I haven't done and I'm supposed to be doing. We're just compartmentalized so I can get through this part and then I move to the next part and do what we need to do. Well, okay, you read ahead. Read that handout I did on all the learning story stuff. I'm telling you, that'll save you a lot of time and energy. Yeah. Well, another thing you can do, and then Joseph, is that do those PDAs and people won't quit you. They won't quit on you if they hear PDAs from you every day. Oh, they're gonna think you just love them. Just that supportive environment. They're gonna want to stick with you. Yeah. 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 Take advantage of all that stuff. And that's not just the audiobook. It's like, is it the digital book and you just push play? Yeah, so that's the digital book because an audiobook is different where it's just a person reading the book to you, but you got the digital book, right? You can see every page. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can push play on those too. You can push play and the computer will read that to you. Yeah. So now you know. Okay, any other questions? Yeah. I think it's on Amazon, but you guys go Google it. That's why I say Google it because I'm not allowed to like it's undercutting the bookstore payment, the companies who created these things. But go Google it. You can find a free version of the PDFs out in the. You can get it at a textbook place. You can get it. It's a Kindle. I have the Kindle version. I got it on Amazon. But like I said, it's out there for free. I don't care what edition you get. Go get an older version for free. Yeah, yeah. So I'm telling you, you could just like put your headphones on while you're on the bus and listen to it. It's real boring. It's hard to stay awake if you listen to it that way. It's better if you can see it while it's reading it to you. I fall asleep, man. And then another thing about the book, the digital one is it'll tell you what everybody else highlighted. So if you don't have time to read it, you just look at what everybody else highlighted. It'll say 35 people highlighted this line. I'm like, oh, that's important. Yeah, so don't fight the technology. I'm telling you, you guys. All right. Sorry, guys. Well, you can buy it or like I said, there's some not so um legal versions out there on the internet for free. The PDF version. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm going to do are there any more questions? No. Okay, so now I'm going to do Hey Did You Know? And this is the one that's in there for week 2. So Hey Did You Know? Little kids like real things. And so today I've got the little tiny paint roller paintbrush kit from the Dollar Tree. This is $1.25. And this is great for any age child. And so what you do is you start with water. You start with water. And they can paint the cement outside. They love it. They get water everywhere, everywhere. And so you let them practice and smack each other. Water, water, water. It's fine. Doesn't make a mess anywhere, right? Because it's water. And they just go to town and waste a lot of water. And you say, okay, that's the cost of doing business as a family child care provider. You deduct that cost and you let them waste that water. They're learning. They're learning. Okay. Cost of, that's like, yes, that's like buying new books every year. This is just the cost of doing business, right? Okay. And so once they get really good control, no matter what age they are, once they get that control going and they're not chewing on it, then you start working with paint. And you put the paint on the roller and you hand them the roller. We're going to share control. I'm going to talk a lot about sharing control with children. You hand them the roller and you let them walk away with that paint on the roller. I know we're going to have to work with that. It's gonna, we can, you can do it. You can do it. You can trust them with that painted roller. And because they've had a lot of practice, they're going to go straight to where they're supposed to be painting that. But you have to create a carefully prepared environment, right? You set up your curriculum. You're going to set out the paper and tape it to the table so they're ready to go. So that the best place, it's the easiest place to put that paint on the paper. So that's how you do that. You give them a lot of practice with the water first, even the babies. So because this is foam and it's easy to bite, this is an activity for children under 3, according to the infant, what is it? The ITERS, infant toddler rating scale, right? For the environmental rating scale. The cutoff is 3. This is the third birthday. So anybody under 3, you're supposed to be within an arm's reach of dangerous stuff like painting, water play, eating, and diapering. Arm's reach. So you don't walk away from a child under 3 with dangerous stuff. Okay? So yeah, this is adult supervision required for that one if they're under 3. Any questions about that? No? I see I see you guys relaxing now. Yeah, we're gonna learn about curriculum. We're gonna learn how to have a good time with our kids, and we're gonna be the professional, and the parents will love you. Do you guys have the parents that count the diapers and say, "Well, I brought 4 and you only changed 3, so there should be 1 left"? Do you have those parents? I'm glad, but they stop counting when you start posting documentation. They don't count. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've actually fired parents from my daycare before. Someone told me a long time ago, she said, children are born every day. And so you do what's best for your business because children are born every day. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. I had 3 at a time, and one of them was a foster baby. And so it's like triplets every day. So I totally understand what you guys are going through. And it was a lot harder for me because now it's all computerized. I closed my daycare in 2004. And so now when you're in the food program, you can send in a month-long menu. I had to do every week it was handwritten, and now it's all computerized. And the taxes was all handwritten. I wrote everything down. Now it's all computerized. I read the book, the red leaf book about taxes and everything. I deduct everything, and now it's all so much easier now. So now it's just trying to get enough funding. All right. Anything else? That's that's all the important stuff I had to say. And so I'm going to turn off the recording, and then I can stay and answer questions, or you guys can log off. You can do whatever you want to do.